Hello there, and welcome to.
Mine's not started yet.
Oh well, okay,
Yeah, I know.
that's fine. You know what? It's fine.
Yeah, I know it is.
It's fine. It's fine.
Get over it, Corey.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. I don't know. It's just spinning. Oh, there we go.
You got it.
Yep. Well, give it 5 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. We're live.
We're live. All right. Hello there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tap Calf Transmissions. I'm Corey, joined as always by the Acolyte himself, the Acolyte.
Oh, that's a good one.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's nice that I get my name made fun of and not the ladder to bladder. We're just, so it's nice to riff off it in a nice way, in a friendly way.
Yeah. So there you go.
Because you're a fellow shill like me, so
yeah, that's what Disney pays us to do, is make name puns off of the show. That's how all the shilling happens these days.
Yeah.
But my check cleared, so I'm here to talk about more of the Acolyte. What about you?
Yeah. Acolyte Season 1, Episode 5, titled Night. We'll discuss it on today's episode. Do you want to announce Monday's stream?
Right. So Monday, we've committed to this. It's actually happening this time. We're going to be talking about Destiny's Way. There was talk about it maybe being tomorrow, but it's just, there was some playoffs happening. Some Panthers, as I understand, got oily. I don't know.
I know you watched the game, Corey. Come on.
I did actually.
Don't sport ball me.
I did watch the game. Thought the third period was boring as fuck. But yeah, I watched it. So. Any other Star Wars news we should talk about before getting into the Acolyte episode 5 or the teasing for our Destiny's Way podcast? Monday, June. That's Monday, July 1st. That's a Canada. Oh fuck, it's Canada Day, isn't it?
Oh fuck.
Did we fuck it up?
Yeah, we did. I mean, we could say Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
That's trivia day for me.
Fuck. And you're busy Sunday?
Yeah, I'm busy Sunday.
Next Wednesday.
Next Thursday.
Is that actually
Wednesday? We're doing this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Monday's Canada Day. Thursday is only like what, 4th of July? Yeah, we don't care about that. That's not our problem.
Yeah. It's the day before my son's birthday, but that doesn't matter.
Look, it's still possible to do it tomorrow.
But I won't have time.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn.
So we're moving it from Canada Day.
I'm not doing anything Canada Day, just to be clear.
I'm not doing anything Canada Day. We can just do that.
We can probably just do it Canada. I don't think, like, I got 3 kids to feed.
Okay. Well, you're not fucking feeding them with the podcast.
No.
We lose money on this.
So how about this? Our commitment level went down from almost certainly, from almost certainly to 100% certain to almost certain.
No, it's still at 100%.
Okay.
Justin Trudeau could walk to my house, like he could, it's close enough, and say, Corey, we need you to do the Canada Day celebration because we realized that Gord Downey died 6 years ago. And I would say, no, I've got to read this Star Wars book from 20 years ago. So is
that what Gord would do, do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, okay. Next week for sure. Probably almost certainly Monday, because I don't think I've got any plans.
I definitely don't on Canada Day itself.
Yeah.
Certainly not at like 7:30, 8 p.m. Like, it's all done by then. Downtown is inaccessible.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's insane in Ottawa. Halifax. I mean, I wouldn't go to Halifax. I'd stay on the Dartmouth side. But we'll see. We love Canada. We'll celebrate Canada together.
Yeah. We'll wear something red.
Maybe we'll look at Canadians who have been involved with Star Wars. I think isn't Jason Fry Canadian? I know Pablo is.
Yeah, Manny Jacinto is Canadian.
Is he really?
He's Canadian.
Oh yeah, Hayden.
Like it's YouTubing and being in Star Wars so much easier if you're Canadian. But
there are a lot of
speaking of
Canadian YouTubers,
both of those things, Star Wars and us Canadians, I don't think there's any other news for this week. So we can get straight into the Acolyte.
Okay, give me your elevator review.
I liked it.
You're right. Yeah.
I really liked this one. I thought it was fun. I thought the choreography overall was both entertaining and able to get across the information it needed to, which we'll get into, I'm sure, with Cortosis. Even if stuff like Chimera getting flown off by bugs is incredibly goofy.
Yeah, I don't. So I saw less of this Cortosis drama. Like, I can understand someone not knowing. Like, I saw what happened and immediately said Cortosis, but I mean, whether you know exactly what it is, it's pretty clear that it hits his lights or his little gauntlet or his helmet, and something happens to the lightsaber and it stops working. Now, if you've read the books, then you probably know, hey, that's most likely Cortosis, a lightsaber resistant material that does that. But either way, I mean, it's pretty clear what's happening.
Yeah, like this could be the first time that it's introduced, but even though it's not, and like you'd still know from within the show what's going on. So Chimera's armor is made out of something that interferes with lightsabers, shuts them down when it gets hit. This is a material that's existed for about 30 years now. I think it was first introduced in iJedi or Vision of the Future because they came out around the same time. But yeah, so it's
Michael Stackpole tweeted, or no wait, Michael Stackpole didn't write iJedi. Wasn't
yeah,
oh yeah, he did because he was tweeting about it today.
Yeah. So the Jensari show up with it first. I think their armor's made out of it. It's like it's not great for anything but getting hit with a lightsaber because it's not particularly hard. And they seem to have kept that property as well with it because that's like Soul and Jackie punch him in the face instead of hitting with the lightsaber. So it's good if you want to fight Jedi. It's not as great in a brawl. But yeah, so Cortosis makes its live action debut.
Yeah, and funny enough, I was thinking about this. Isn't it Plagueis, which starts off in the Cortosis mine?
Was that a Cortosis mine?
Where Plagueis kills is it I thought it was a Cortosis mine.
You're probably right. I just never remembered what it was.
Yeah.
Because that's Tenebris dies in it.
For that, please. But yeah, I just thought that was a funny little connection because clearly, if I remember correctly, one of the big things is that they do have access to a Cortosis, and like it's heavily like the Jedi and the Republic are pretty careful about that. Which I imagine there's going to be, like, obviously the Sith Chimera, whether he seems to have some connections to like strange things. He's been described as like an artifact collector, so I do wonder. I think at some point we're going to hear some discussion about how he's got access to this Cortosis. He's got enough to make a gauntlet on one hand, plus his helmet.
Well, I'm kind of wondering if it's a thing where the Jedi are going to generally know. Like, did any of the Jedi who were there know what was going on? I think that's the other dimension to like why Soul isn't just stopping the combat to look at the camera and be like, "This is Cortosis, which shorts out the lightsabers, as you're able to see. And now, if I punch him, it will do extra damage." Like, that would have been. I feel like that would have been bad writing. But
no, I mean they showed exactly how it works, where the lightsaber turns off for a bit temporarily, then it turns back on.
Yeah. So it does, like, you don't necessarily have to catch that the first time to be able to get by the end of the fight, like, oh, this is what's going on. Like, that's part of learning. Like, you don't need to be spoon fed everything in the moment.
No, I agree. I didn't really know that was a problem. I don't get it. I really liked the presentation of the Sith generally, both. I thought he would lose some of his luster when he lost his helmet, but I thought Manny Jacinto did a really good job. He's very deranged. I think some of the dialogue was maybe a little on the nose for like evil bad guy, but it is what it is. The combat was really good. I tweeted last night that if I were in charge of Disney Star Wars, I would make a new rule where you can't end a scene with character scampers away like into the bushes, because that definitely happened a lot. Where the Sith was like moving between battles. It kind of felt to me like they had all of these interactions they needed to check off. Like they needed the Sith to encounter Jecki alone, then they needed him to encounter her with Saul. So there was a lot of kind of basically he throws a smoke bomb, runs away, shows up somewhere else.
For sure.
Which that did kind of bother me. That's why I said it was goofy. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good episode too.
Yeah, I think like all the scenes that Manny Jacinto's had in the show as like regular Chimere before and as masked up Chimere or post mask Chimere, I think they've all been really good. He's been a real standout for me. And they kind of mentioned before the show had started airing that like part of the role was developed with the idea that it is Manny Jacinto in the role, and that if they hadn't been able to get him, they probably would have done something different for the character. And I can kind of like, I think he's done just such a good job at selling that kind of makes sense that was the plan.
Yeah, I agree. He's kind of a weird Sith though. I posted this theory last night. I don't think there's a whole lot of evidence for it if you look at like what the cast says and the premise of the show itself. But I am kind of wondering whether he's not a real Sith, like whether he's just kind of taken the Sith moniker, but is not part of like the greater 1,000-year order that's sort of been, going on in the background here.
I don't know. Like he said it's that like, oh, the Jedi might call me Sith. But I don't think the play is going to be to have him not be that. Like I feel like his position is more that he kind of wants to do what he wants to do, and then he's kind of forced into the position of being a Sith because that's what he has to do to keep the power he wants. But I don't think it like to the point that would even matter. I think it's kind of a distinction without a difference. Like I think functionally he'll be a Sith. I feel like Soul at this point is probably thinking about him as a Sith. I think he probably, to the extent that it even matters, thinks about himself as a Sith. So
yeah, I guess to me the main difference is kind of his position in the like the greater hierarchy, because they're leading from they're completely gone and they're in the shadows to the point of the prequels where they come back and kill all the Jedi. Like the way I kind of think about it is the Sith as a group, for most of the wider galaxy, they're like even more legendary than the Jedi, like far more legendary because they're gone. You've probably got just a very basic idea of what they are. So like maybe, there's this guy who obviously doesn't like authority. He wants to do what he wants to do. He doesn't like the Jedi in particular. Maybe he just sees the Sith as as the kind of the group closest to his philosophy without really understanding what they are. And the only reason why I think that could potentially be the case is like his actions aren't there's just a few things that kind of seem off to me, like the way he doesn't talk about having a master himself, yet he talks about his apprentice being an acolyte versus an actual apprentice.
But would he give that information away even to May at this point?
That's definitely the obvious counter to that. I guess more so is just the fact that is for a Sith who's in hiding. I don't know if his plan really makes sense just to kill Jedi and kind of expose himself like that. I guess if it's to test the Acolyte, then that would be the rationale.
Yeah,
but
like he wasn't necessarily planning to come to this planet. And have this happen. Like it just so happens that him and May are going to Kelnock at the same time the Jedi are. He kind of knows the Jedi will be coming for that. But when May abandons him, because even in this episode, he's talking about how May was just a bad acolyte, not a loyal apprentice, the way that Jecki is a loyal apprentice.
Yeah.
And so he jokes that he was wearing a mask when Soul's asking why risk exposing himself. It's a risk, but I think he's aware of that.
Yeah, and they did talk about how I think there was an interview where Leslie Headland said like the Acolyte is the one who like she's interested in how the apprentice finds the acolyte to help destroy the master. So it seems obvious. I'm just kind of wondering whether there could potentially be something else going on, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what the purpose from like the show's perspective would be of being like, he's not actually the Sith that we're saying is
Yeah.
involved. It's a different guy who like comes in and cries. Like maybe the master ends up being displeased with him,
Yeah.
and like we do end up with him getting kind of destroyed by that master. But I don't think the takeaway will be that Chimere wasn't a Sith. Like it's definitely a different version of the Sith than what we see at like the end stages when Palpatine's putting
Yeah.
everything together to take it over. Because we know there's like this 1,000 years where like all the Sith could do or were doing was collecting people, as Chimere said in the prior episode, or
Yeah.
like finding these little odds and ends, putting together whatever their plan would end up being. And what Chimere's role in that might be, who knows? That would change whether he's the apprentice or the master. But
Mhm.
he's pretty young too, so it's not like he's
Oh,
been
yeah, yeah, for sure.
established master for a long time either.
Mhm. Yeah. You think, like, kind of that a lot of the Sith of that era wouldn't have even seen combat because,
Yeah,
they kinda just been cooking. Um, I guess to me, it was also his appearance, or it's very similar to, like, kind of the early Knights of Ren guys that we see in the comics, but it also looks perfectly Sith-like, so,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's all like we're talking about a point where the Sith are really just two guys, and then
Yeah.
whoever their acolytes might be. So what it means to be the Sith. Like they're not really the kind of people who are going to super strongly hold themselves to whatever precepts that Bane set up. Like the rule of two just gets thrown aside by literally Bane and Xana in
Yeah.
Legends.
Yeah.
So it's not a thing that
Yeah.
really.
Um, yeah, so and, like, this episode kinda just also why were people so worried about the lore implications of the Sith encountering the Jedi? They're all dead now except for one. We all kind of
Mhm.
knew that was what was going to happen. Obviously, Master Saul is still out there, but, like, the fact that he now knows directly that he's facing a Sith kind of means that, even more clearly, he's going to die or something's gonna happen to him. So, people definitely jumped the gun with that.
Yeah, like Soul doesn't seem to be in the headspace to go and report this very cogently. Like I'm not
Yeah.
even sure he's going to get back to the Jedi.
No,
I
I
think
don't
he
think so.
does. Like I didn't think like Jackie, Yord, and Soul would die.
Yeah.
So we're already kind of past that.
Mhm.
But like we know Vernestra comes looking uh
Yeah.
for I don't know, for Chimere, or like maybe she doesn't know she's looking for Chimere, but she comes looking for whatever happens to these Jedi. So whether that we just don't know yet whether that's going to be because Soul makes it back and explains what happened,
Mhm.
or it's just everyone went missing. Now Vernestra has to go figure this out.
Right. And it's like, yeah, the Jedi are going to know something happened, but, like, the Jedi see a lot of Jedi killed. It's definitely, very confusing, but the idea that they would go instantly to their legendary enemy vanquished 1,000 years ago returned
Yeah.
kind of like that logically doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like we literally have the conversation last episode when they're in that like situation room where they list all these other possibilities of who they think it might be, whether it's like a rogue Jedi sect of some kind, some other kind of Force user, and they don't say the name Sith at that point either. And I
Mhm.
think like that is a possible reason to go. Like I think the plan was originally they asked if they could use Yoda for the
Mhm.
scene that Kiadi was in, and then once Yoda was a no, they
I kind of thought
uh,
she was just joking, honestly, the writer. She said,
maybe.
like, Yoda wasn't available. Like, I kind of thought she was just joking about, like, Yoda being out of town, but
Well, regardless of that, I think like if you're going to have someone be there
yeah.
and you're trying to like, and if part of the story does end up being what do the Jedi think this is instead of the Sith, then
Mhm.
the guy who authoritatively states in episode one, Darth Maul can't be a Sith because the Sith have been gone for so long, having
Yeah.
that guy be there as kind of the person who communicates ultimately, or like figures out part of whatever their story ends up being, like that would be a reason to use him. Like that's why it's him and not just random Jedi number 3. Like I'm not sure that I'm going to agree with whatever reason it is for the Jedi not to think this is a Sith, or for Kiadi to be so sure of what he's saying in episode 1, but I don't think Kiadi solely not being in the room would have been a satisfying answer for that anyways. So
I mean, if one Jedi knows it, as long as that Jedi is not keeping it a secret, like that's what I didn't understand about the Kiadi Mundi thing in particular, because like if something big is going on and the Jedi discover it, like he's going to find out either way, whether he's alive or not. He's going to hear of this event. So that one, I guess I didn't really understand.
Yeah, like I mean, we're also in a situation where, as Legends fans, like this was said in the prequel trilogy, this would then turned out not to be true. So it's entirely possible we end up in a situation where they haven't, like they know it's the Sith, and then it's just one incident that they're not counting when Kiadi says that. Like that's a possibility. In the same way that we hear that the Republic was 1,000 years of peace, but then the Stark hyperspace conflict and the Nile and whatever else, like that is another possibility. I'm just not angry about it.
Yeah,
I hope it's a better answer than that, but I think like if you're getting too invested in that, then especially if you're getting so invested in that you're getting angry ahead of time, then you're not going to enjoy anything that gets put out regardless. So you may as well just stop. Like if you're approaching the series as something that you are in confrontation with, I don't understand what the enjoyment you're going to get out of it is going to be.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's, kind of what I've been saying the whole time. Like the show has issues. If it's not, hitting with you, like it often hasn't been for me, there's a lot of ways to criticize it. I haven't finished my review. I haven't put it live yet, but for me, as I mentioned, the directing this episode really took me out of it. The exit stage lefts and so many people being knocked out or stunned, and then like switching position. Like there's one part where I believe it's Osha stuns May so they can get alone, and then like May knocks Osha off a small cliff and she gets stunned, or she gets knocked out. And like at the same time, Master Saul is knocked out. It's just kind of a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in a series where some of the writing has been like some of the line delivery, I guess, has been one of the weaker parts, than like an episode that is so heavily action based. Even with that kind of the way they sectioned off some of the writing or some of the action being a little clunky, like it's not surprising that ends up being my favorite of it.
Yeah.
Even one of the weaker parts of this episode, I think like overall Amandla has done a good job as both characters, but now having both characters in the same place, like it's really obvious that it's played by the same person, and it's hard to make that look convincing. And I feel like that kind of takes you out of it a bit.
Should have had Eddie Murphy doing it. Dr. Dolittle in the High Republic. Very cool.
I don't know. What if they went the Medea route instead?
Yeah.
I don't know if Tyler Perry wasn't available, or
he once he saw that Kamir was wearing a dress and he didn't get to do it, he was out. He's like, someone's gonna get taken by bugs in a dress and it's not me. No, we're done.
Well, even though they weren't able to get Eddie Murphy or Tyler Perry for this, like I think there were enough scenes that had Lee, Amandla, and Manny as like kind of the highlights of the show together that helped too. But because we haven't really seen too much of all of them in the same place yet.
No.
So that was nice.
No, this is really the only, I guess temporarily when they went into Kamir's shop in episode 3 or whatever, but or episode 2. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And I mean, we got enough of the Chimere creepiness at that point that I feel like it was pretty solid on what was going on here. Like it wasn't. I don't think anyone was surprised by this review.
The dude definitely has a goon cave. Like that's the feeling I got when I watched that episode. Like,
fair enough.
Yeah. No, he's a weirdo. Like I saw Leslie Headland kind of said she figured most people would put it together, so she wanted the action and like the kind of immediate deaths to be the surprising. I thought the
Yeah.
surprising aspect, and I think that was probably the right move,
Yeah.
especially in a show with so little time. Like they got to establish a mystery with 4 30-minute episodes before this point. So I don't think there really was an opportunity for them to establish multiple possibilities of the Sith character. So either it's going to be someone we know in him, or it's going to be an Aspel. And I think they were right
Yeah.
to have it be him.
Yeah, like I was really surprised by the fact that they were willing to kill all those characters. So the fact that it
Yeah.
was like uh an obvious reveal for Chimere really didn't
No. No.
take me out of it at all.
Who were you
But
more surprised by, Jackie or Yord?
I think Jackie.
Mhm.
I went in thinking like if any of the three of them would die, it would be Yord. And then
Mhm.
it like leaving aside the fact that it was like Yord was killed after Jackie. So at that point you kind of think it's probably coming.
Mhm.
So I think like anytime you're killing a Padawan, I think that's more surprising.
I thought it was going to be Yord just because I figured they had more to do with his kind of cop storyline,
Hmm.
with him
Yeah.
being, with such a stick up as that. But I mean, Vernestra's still there to have a stick up her ass. So
Well, kind of to your point about like having people weave in and out of the bushes in and out of the action, like it it doesn't feel like Soul did a ton in the fights until it was just him left.
mhm.
Where it feels like a lot of focus was on even more so on Jackie even than
Yeah,
what Soul was doing. Because a
yeah.
lot of the shots with Soul before then were in places where there were still a couple of the red shirts left.
Yeah.
But
I do find it interesting how the Sith, the Jedi have definitely become a little complacent. They haven't been training to have to kill another
yeah.
lightsaber user. He has, so he's got it. He took them on pretty much single handedly himself, and no issues.
Yeah, like that is kind of the advantage that the Sith have in this whole period up to Count Dooku,
Yeah.
where like the Jedi are mostly in like the Obi-Wan school of fighting, where their style is more about stopping potentially groups of people with guns,
Yeah.
compared to the Sith, who are like they don't care about any of that shit. Their goal is only if I'm in a fight with a Jedi, I need to kill the Jedi. So my armor is going to be suited to stop a lightsaber. My
Yeah.
combat style is going to be stabbing children. Like it's makes
Oh,
sense.
we also saw the he stabbed one red shirt, then pulled the other one on the lightsaber. That was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's the action was good. I definitely liked that. I think I did have another thought. Oh, and we saw you mentioned, I don't remember where you got this from, but you mentioned there would be a different lightsaber,
Hmm.
uh, and he's got the kind of Cal Kestis break it in half, two blades. People are mentioning that he used Tricotta. I didn't really catch that myself.
It's in the I think the data bank was
Yeah, but I
updated
mean, like, I
using that
didn't
term, but
see it actually happen in the fight because I was watching for
yeah.
that. 'Cause I thought he might do that against Jackie or one of the more inexperienced, because that'd be kind of like a pretty quick way to dispatch somebody who's never been in a
Well,
lightsaber fight
I think
before.
it is specifically referring to him pulling it apart and turning it off and on to like stab Jackie there. Where
Okay.
it was like it was more of an activation than deactivation, so it is a bit of a weird label to apply for it, but
I will say these episodes are too short.
yeah. Well, they're what, usually 35 minutes? It seems like that's ended up being kind of the standard for a lot of the shows, which is a little disappointing.
Yeah. I'm just watching the kill shot again. Yeah, like he like she knocks him back, his helmet falls off, he splits it apart. He kind of just, I guess he stabs her, then turns it off, then stabs her again. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, that probably is what Headland was talking about, of this being the other lightsaber type that she wanted to pull in. And I'm not sure what the difficulty the prop department might have had with that might be. Just that he's got to pull it out when it's going on, and then like both of the lightsabers have to be shorter in the handle, because the
Yeah.
way they do the lightsabers now, they have to be like kind of chonky because they're built to be a bit more practical.
Yeah.
So maybe that is what's going on there. But I feel like the reason she probably wanted to do that one, if that is in fact the lightsaber in question, is to kind of recreate the strategy against light whips. So I think having
Well,
that
yeah, because he
Shoto,
does have a Shoto, yeah.
yeah. So I think we're like with Vernestra having her light whip, with him having that saber set up, we're probably headed towards a duel between the two that's like very Luke and Lumaya.
Yeah, that'll be interesting as well. Because like if Vernestra doesn't counter him, she will have to die. I think for the secret to
Yeah.
to keep secret, because she'll know what she's seeing, and she's like Saul is obviously a little too emotionally attached as a
Yeah.
Jedi, and that's kind of throwing him off a weird path right now. You know, he almost killed Chimere, which
Yeah.
you know I don't know if that would have been because they were fighting. I mean,
Yeah. It was as fair as Mace killing Palpatine would have been.
yes, I
Like
agree.
equally valid.
Yeah.
And there was plenty of like hand-to-hand combat there already. So
Yeah, I mean they were in a full like fight for their lives, and then he pulls his lightsaber and yeah. So do you think what have people been calling him? What's the Kylo Ren name they've been using for
Smilo Ren.
Kylo Ren? Yeah, do you think he does have a master left, or could he have ended the Sith threat right there and
No,
saved everyone a
there's
lot of
no
heartache?
way he's the master. I don't see it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's just too young.
Yeah,
Too young, too
too
carefree.
fiery. Yeah,
He's trying to get an acolyte right now so that he can take down his master. Probably
yeah,
you know how it goes.
yeah.
You send him
And
out to do some anti-Jedi stuff. Someone who you know has a vendetta against the Jedi isn't going to raise as many red flags for the Jedi if they're going around killing other Jedi. I think that's why. And then they can help you kill your master. Then you're the master. But
yep.
didn't work out. Way she goes.
Way she
Way of the
goes.
road.
Way of the road. Yeah, those are my basic thoughts. I'm just scrolling through. Obviously, we didn't mention the weakest part of the episode for me was definitely the like they can't really figure out what's going on with May. I don't think. Um, like her, I don't know if her motivations. There's just a lot of flip flopping for me. And now we've done the kind of Parent Trap switch situation. What I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, I can kind of see that complaint, but I think her motivation was kind of solid at the end of last episode, where she was going to turn herself into the Jedi, but then Kalnaka being killed breaks that plan
She
up.
basically got framed again. Well,
Yeah.
not she was framed for the first time, but yeah.
Yeah. So she killed the other two. Maybe she was wrong to think that her situation changed all that much by not actually having killed this third.
Yeah.
But now she also knows like Smilo Ren is going to be after her. So
Yeah.
that kind of changes the calculus. She didn't know that Chimere was her master. She didn't know her master was right there.
Yeah.
Like you get in, you see Kalnaka has been slashed up. That changes a lot of stuff because things just got a lot more dangerous. But I mean, I think Soul knows that's not Osha.
So, oh, you do you?
I
So,
think
is she
so.
trying to take revenge on Soul now for something, or is she just trying to escape?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I think her and Osha both probably don't know what they're doing at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because what Chimere said to Osha about Soul probably had a pretty sizable effect. So I think like she might be more open to being Chimere's apprentice than May is to being Soul's.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they look similar, but doesn't May have a tattoo as well, like on her forehead? She got that little spiral tattoo.
Yeah, they have the mark that.
I don't think Osha
But
has one because didn't the
yeah,
ceremony get stopped? So
yeah, Osha just has the thing on her arm,
Mhm.
but like I think Soul knows it's her.
Okay.
Like I don't think either of them is. I don't think Soul or Chimere are confused about what actually happened here. I don't think May got one over on anyone.
Well, she won't at the very least, because that little fucking rodent took the droid. He took the droid with him.
Yeah.
So the droid will know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made it.
Yeah.
That was kind of goofy, going for the back of the shirt.
Yeah.
She did manage to take down a Force user without a weapon, though. Is
Yeah,
a droid had a weapon?
It's just like if Master Chief ended up being killed by like a grunt with a sticky grenade, a plasma grenade.
Yeah.
Like basically what
that. You don't. Everyone knows this is what I find unbelievable. Everyone knows you do not grab like this. Get it that way, you're right there.
Yeah.
Up here, no, not going to work.
He forgot his Cortosis back scratcher. I did like how the aliens were playing. I'm just watching parts of the episode. I did have this in my notes. They were playing like non-holographic Dejaric when they're coming back. Like they had actual pieces. That was
these
funny.
minis cost $80.
Yeah, yeah. Surely that would be more expensive. Yeah, they're nice pieces too.
Yeah, anything that takes up physical space, especially on a spaceship, that's costing you billions of dollars.
They were just in town.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
They got to get there somewhere.
That's true.
My favorite line of the episode, though, was when the bugs were coming down for Chimere, and he was like, "They're right behind me, aren't they?"
Well, this is a situation. We're doing this now.
These guys really bug me.
Why does it always have to be bugs?
So, do you think Soul survives?
Probably not. No.
The whole season, or just the next few minutes?
None of us do. Right?
Yeah. Like, I think Soul's dead. I think Vernestra's dead. I think Kaidi Mundi's probably dead. Ki-Adi Mundi.
I know my bet with Ilkin's dead, and he owes me money.
What was... Oh, Ilkin was betting that it wasn't Chimere, right? Okay, yeah, that was... Ilkin.
Not a great bet.
Bad move. We'll have
like
to...
I think it was $100, I said, too.
Yeah, it was a lot. The rest of us were just looking at that amount of money changing hands, thinking, like, all these fucking rich bastards.
Yeah, it's just a million subscriber YouTube thing.
The rest, I mean, Arash was hitting those views.
I would have reneged on the deal.
There. Just hope he forgets. Don't mention it. We'll have to ask him about that, his decision making on that once he's on for Temptation of the Force. He felt the temptation of the bet. The man can't resist a gamble. That's...
I should have. I know for a fact Ilkin owns like a Rolex. I should have been like, put your nicest watch up. I got my Apple Watch. It's a Series 9, but not a big deal.
$600 for next time.
Yeah.
Bet him about Vernestra dying. I feel like that's happening.
Yeah. That's a good one. Maybe I will.
Any other character deaths you want to lament ahead of time before we call it for the week?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, overall, I think it's my favorite episode so far. Some goofy stuff happened, but I thought it was really fun. So,
yeah, I'll be putting my review up in a few minutes on YouTube, so y'all can watch my thoughts, and I'm sure yours must be already up.
Mine is up.
Yeah.
So plan right now, Monday night, Canada Day, we're going to be celebrating with Destiny's Way. That's 2 words with similar amounts of letters. Canada Day, Destiny's Way. True. And then next Wednesday, we'll be back live talking about the Acolyte episode 6 as we get into the end game. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And Justin, tell them what to remember.
I forget. Like the podcast, like the streams, leave us some good reviews. We got to do a review check. It's been a minute.
Yeah, we'll maybe we'll get into that with the Destiny's Way episode. You can look up some reviews. I'll get the questions together. tapcalftransmissions@gmail.com. And then we'll be back. We'll be back to books. 2024 is the year of X2 and the year of books. Even though it's
not the year of X2. It's the year of our Marvel channel, though.
Yeah. Maybe once Charlie moves to Halifax, it'll be different.
You know what Charlie told me he was going to do today? A bovine clips video. I was like, I don't care. I'm not concerned about that. You should do one, but
I mean, Marmar was busy, so I don't think it was going to happen anyway.
The year of books, yeah. Yeah, I had my big. I wanted to read. I think I said 100 books this year. I've probably read. I may have said 50. I've probably read 15. So
yeah, like Worm alone was 5,500 word or 5,500 pages, so that counts for a bunch of books.
that's
I read
that's like 10 books.
So I think it's more than that.
Yeah,
but I read it in the space of the last month. I think I literally started a month ago.
The goddamn Two Towers really threw me through a loop because I figured, and once they move to the just Frodo parts, I'm like, oh man, this fucking dragging on. How many times
you can skip those? You can skip those.
I mean, yeah, I was trying to think like I move between my physical book, my audiobook for that, and I for the past like 3 weeks I've had 4 hours left in the audiobook, and they're hiding in a rock in like like near Mordor somewhere. Like
it's the exact same. Every chapter is the exact same until the end of the book. You only need to be there for them fucking throwing the ring in. Like, think about it this way. Once you're finished this re-raid, are you going to look back and think, damn, I sure wish I could remember what Sam and Frodo had for breakfast that day? Because that's
I know what they had for breakfast. They had those little dwarven, or not dwarven, the elven.
It's all lembas.
Lembas, yeah. They had lembas for breakfast.
Yeah, so you're good.
And they try to make Smeagol eat it, but he hates elves. Don't give me the chips.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know. I can't do Smeagol. It was like more like Dobby. Like Dobby after being abused.
Master gave Smeagol a song.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, how come you didn't wish Murphy happy birthday?
I didn't know it was Murphy's birthday.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy birthday, Murphy. Is he there?
Yeah. Murph. Oh, one second.
Everyone say happy birthday to Murphy. There he is.
All right, Murph. You want to say goodbye to everybody?
Look at that acceptance. Just.
Yeah. He was at daycare today, so he's very tired.
Okay.
He had to play with other dogs all day. Good birthday.
That's the dream.
All right.
It is.
Bye,
everyone.
Goodbye.